no, you've been so good to me.
Okay.
Lord, you are my everything.
Can't play no games with me. We work our faith all day. We just can't lose no way. Down on our knees when we pray. We gain integrity in all we do. Reconciliations happen when we pray. Strongholds are destroyed. We repent when we've done wrong. You ain't got a lie to protect your reputation. See, the truth will set you free. Set you free. No more bondage, no. I'm not the one to play no games. Last season for me was full of pain. I had it bad, a surrendering. Put my faith in God, steady blazing. I'm coming home to the place I belong. I'm committed to loving you, even if you don't change. See, you're not alone. Take your eyes off the problems.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miana Joy, and I'm interviewing Mike the Chaplain. Hi, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm excited. I'm ready to celebrate. I'm ready to let the world know how good God is. Facts, man.
Awesome. Well, we are so excited too because your new LP Home is coming out. Just so
Yeah.
everybody knows, Mike has been in the industry for over 10 years. He represents us here in the Hudson Valley. He is our breakout star. With his new LP Home about to debut, we have a few people that are going to let us know what home means to them.
Home to me is pretty much what a heart is, you know, family, you know, just protection, just, you know, just that comfort. That's home for me. Just stay encouraged. I know that the times are really tough right now. And just, you know, stay in there. Trust God. Understand that He wouldn't bring you to it if He wouldn't bring you through it. And I'll see you on the other side. Better days are coming.
Home to me is, first of all, where God is. I grew up in a Christian home, so, you know, my family is very Christian oriented. So.
Wow, that was so powerful. So powerful. And guys, just so you know, we were supposed to have Willie Taylor from Day 26, but due to urgent issues, he's not going to be able to make it today. But we're praying for our brother, and soon he will be interviewing Mike. So just wait around. He's going to be here soon. Yeah. So Mike, it was very powerful, everything that they were talking about home. You know, like, let me know a little bit like about what home means to you, since you are the artist that wrote this album.
Well, truth be told, when I think of home, I think of a place where there's love. Nah, not, I'm joking. That's literally Stephanie Mills. Stephanie Mills. She wrote
Right.
this song. But literally, when I really think of home, I think of unconditional love. I think
Wow.
of a place where you can make your mistakes. I think of a place that grooms you for the future. I think of a place that actually nurtures you to be the person that you're going to be. I think of a place that not only nurtures you, but cultivates you.
Wow.
Chastises you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They got to get in your behind just a little bit, just to let you
Exactly.
know. I need you to stay the course to where you're going. That's what I think of home. It's a sacred place that people actually get to, you know, undress themselves. They actually get to be themselves in totality without
Mhm.
being judged.
Right. Exactly. With like behind closed doors, who you want to
Facts.
be. That's so awesome. And that's very powerful and extremely inspirational. You know, you've been doing this for quite a while. Tell me about some of the other things that you have done in your past that have led you up to this part today as an
Oh,
artist.
in all actuality, like there's so many people that I want to say that has really been instrumental in my walk, instrumental when it comes to, me growing as an artist, by letting me, be a part of their projects. I want to give a shout out to Kenneth Hampton, who definitely allowed me to be a part of 2 soundtracks that introduced me into the movie game. You know what I'm saying? And just to give you guys just a few, I did this movie called Supermodel. I want you to check this out. Super.
Like staying out there in them streets, don't you? That's how you get in trouble. I want you to go to college, get a degree, use the brain that God gave you. You grown and yet you still living in my house.
Hello, mademoiselle.
Hi.
I'm a model agent.
I'm an agent, a model agent.
A what? Boom. This is an ugly business, Chloe.
Are you ready for your life to be changed?
I was born ready.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, a celebrity now, bro.
Now what I'll tell you about this fashion show, I asked you to come somewhere with me and do this with me, huh?
On this runway, yeah. On a mission on this runway, yeah. Supermodel on this runway, yeah. Integrity on this runway, yeah.
Guys, like literally, when I think about that whole project, first of all, I have to give a shout out not only to Kenneth Hampton, but to my brother Tyjuan Obi, who produced 2 of the records, and of course my sister Reese Siren, who was also a part of the runway track. So it was super exciting. I remember getting chills first getting the news and stuff.
There's not many people that can say that they were on a soundtrack with those big names. That's a really big deal.
And sometimes it's really hard to celebrate those things because in our minds, we're constantly trying to reach the next high, trying to get to the next level. That, we as a people, sometimes we just don't know how to just be like, you know what, I'm here and God has blessed me to be here. And I'm grateful to have, network with so many different people, on this journey called life and being able to exchange life, situations, exchange, life stories and beginning to grow and have different friendships that actually, sharing with people that actually have the same drive and
exactly.
Gifting. This is awesome. Super awesome.
And to have your first movie be something that was based around God is really amazing.
Like that. I think that's what people really don't really understand about, growing up in church, born and raised in church. One thing I do know is that God is real, and knowing my call, which is to reach those that are hurting, reach those that are in pain, reach those that are unfortunate. But the reality of it all is I didn't recognize the more I grew is that some of these, turns in life that I would also experience, you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
And recognize what it feels to be at this place. What it feels to be in those specific elements. And the reality of it all is sometimes the more you go through, the more you have to share with other people. You know what I'm saying? You don't take life for granted. You just like, you know what? I kind of been there before, or I can relate to some of that, and therefore I want to be there for you in the midst of your situation. So, which brings me to, I want to say that the next movie soundtrack that I actually did a placement on is called No Regrets with Brian White. I want to also give a shout out to David Swing, man. Of course, from Raise 'em Up Records, man, super dope. Also, I want to give a shout out to my brother and my friend, my label partner, but also a manager. I want to give a shout out to Martin Christie. Yes, Martin Christie. I mean, truth be told, this whole year has been super tough. But him and, of course, my manager, Tracy Sunshine Woodall, have been there, kind of like holding my arms up, like, listen, come on, let's get back in the ring. Let's keep focusing. Let's keep pushing because there's a world that needs to hear this messaging, So, this next, I want to say this next movie is called No Regrets. And definitely the leading role is Brian White, but I was able to make another song placement through my brother, Kenneth Hampton. So I want to give a shout out to him. Thank you very much, big bro.
Wait. Chivalry is not dead. Where are you trying to go?
Culver City Mall.
We gotta focus. Pay attention to the sign. You get to LA and run into a hot guy and there's a connection. Sign. Hot guy gets in the car with you. A sign. Hey, look, I don't know what you bitches see, but I can see the signs clearly. Tell me how you like that.
Can you tell me where to go? I need an answer, please. I need directions on the go. I'll let your spirit lead.
Ex-wife and your daughter. If this was happening to me, there would be Al Green grits, Chris Brown's teeth prints, and O.J. Simpson's butcher knife all over this house.
Wow, another set of powerful casts.
Super, super amazing. I mean, I remember going to see this premiere, guys. Like this premiere, Miana, this premiere, I believe it was me, my mom's, it was my wife, and of course, my brother Trevon James, and of course, I think my other sister Shondi. We went to Connecticut, and they were premiering this in the movie theater. So going to see that, and then of course doing sometimes we do like a after party after the show. We do a little concert and stuff. But
and
it
with
was
with you, Mike the Chaplain, it's always a movie, right?
That's a shameless plug, but just really thinking about like how far I've come and the people that God placed in my life to be able to help me along the way, but then also being able to know that my gift was needed in these areas and in these elements to make an impact in this product. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, never, I want to say one of the greatest films that I was ever a part of dealing with the soundtrack. And I want to give a shout out to the OG, Kenneth Hampton once again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We did Never Heard, man. And that experience, oh my goodness, man. Wow. That experience, it changed my way of seeing things. And of course, and I remember when I posted up, when I first made this placement on the Never Heard soundtrack, I'll never forget, there was a time, it was a small season to where, it was like, okay, you made the placement, and then I got news back that I didn't make the placement, and I was like, like I felt horrible. I felt crazy. And then I was like, you know what? But I want to tell my people that, regardless of what it is, still give God the glory, even though I didn't make the placement. But I felt like, I felt bad.
Right.
And then it was like within 24 hours after that, they put my song back on the soundtrack.
Wow.
So it just lets you know that even though you're gifted and even though that you can be talented, right? Truth be told, there's sometimes you get denied, and you got to be able to deal with that. That's the, you know what I'm saying? That's the flip side.
No,
and I can definitely attribute to that quality when it comes to being able to withstand hardship. I definitely want to give, honor to my mother, man. She's definitely has been not just one of my greatest supporters, but more so has been, I want to say, the person that has been there to let me know, like, man, you need to step it up. You got to step this up.
Right. And to push you forward.
Like, and she wasn't no yes ma'am. Like, she wasn't, you know what I'm saying? She was going to let you know, nah, that was whack. You gotta be able to handle that. You gotta be able to deal with that. If you can't deal with that, then there's no room for you in the business aspect of things.
Right, exactly. She was grooming you for the industry. The industry is a tough industry, and that's awesome to have a mother that God strategically placed as your mom because He knew what your destiny was.
And I'm super grateful to have my mother to definitely be one of my supporters. And of course, with a couple of other people that have definitely been, supporting my back. And then, of course, letting me know the real. And I think that we need more and more of that in our lives. But when we did this next project called Never Heard with David Banner. And it was Romeo, Robin Givens.
Awesome.
I mean, it was super big because this was my first Christian-based film. That you got the lady from the War Room, she being super spiritual. Like when she started to talk, you're like, Yeah, she's about to lay something big
Right.
right now. So just to be a part of that experience, and then of course Carucci was a part of it.
Right.
And check it out, guys. It was super exciting. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my brother Pyro Tracks, who was also on the track with me when it came to Never Heard. And the song that I did for that actual movie, it was called Made It Out. All right, so check it out.
The gang leader, formerly known as A-Frame, continues to maintain his innocence despite insurmountable evidence against him.
This man may be a lot of things, but I'm telling you, he's not a liar.
Better be right about this, Monty. I just need to ask you one question. Did you rob that convenience store and kill that little girl and that cashier?
You already died.
I should be out there.
You are right where you need to be to hear from God. Don't allow your past to defeat you. See, out there was a distraction from being a father to your son. Aaron, he's selling drugs, just like his father used to.
All we do is sell a little weed. Right?
Boy, you know you hear me talking to you.
Yeah, Ma. I got you a little something. I think this is the piece of evidence we've needed. Let's go get him out of there.
I've never even heard my father speak.
I've never seen you here before.
My grandma works here. It looked like I may have a good reason to come back a little bit more often.
If I get out, will I have a place to come to?
Off of your life today. Everything has a seed. And if you plant trouble, trouble's what you're gonna get back.
Now, if you don't have that money by tomorrow,
He wants to be a father to his son.
That was really awesome. All the stars that were in that movie, it seems so powerful.
Super, super powerful. And I mean, like, if we look at just the series of movies that I shown you guys, and first of all, thank you guys for coming on here. I'm super humbled that you guys would definitely come see me, and of course my brother Willie Taylor, who's not able to make it tonight due to definitely an urgent issue. The reality of it all is when I look at all of these things, even when it comes to my brother's situation, like, truth be told, when we're thinking about the dynamic of all of these elements in these movies, it dealt with family issues. You know what I'm saying? Problem at home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the reality of it all is, of course, we all have gone through a lot within the last 2 years when it comes to the pandemic. We've experienced some major hardships. Some people, it's like, my money went up and I did this and I did that. Yeah, although there was some serious success, right? There was also some hardships that was involved with that. And that's what, this whole project, was really based on understanding, what I went through, what I was going through, and how God was dealing with me in that process. I've worked through this process. I've worked with, of course, my brother Willie Taylor. I worked with my brother Tajuan Obi. I've worked with Robert Curry. That's my bro. I worked with so many people in the making of that, not just artists and producers. Shout out to Champ Jenkins and Daquan Davis. I've worked with counselors, being counseled through what I was going through within my relationship, within my marriage. And the reality of it all is I had to go through some things to be able to understand some things from a different perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I want to give a shout out to my wife, LaToya J. I love you. We here. And the reality of it all is I just believe that when we go through what we go through, it brings about jewels that actually can help people overcome. You know what I'm saying? And the reality, there were so many other people that was a part of this process. Of course, with my brother Martin Christie, of course, came Jacinda Nicole, and came with so many other people that were dynamic in this process of who I am today.
Right.
And I'm super grateful, for all of the videographers, for Lenny. Shout out to Lenny. Freddie Madfuko, Want to give a shout out to Dr. Brantley. Shout out to my professor, Bishop Woody. And like, there's so many people behind this body of work that if they didn't contribute to me musically, they contributed to me from a counselor perspective.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's super important. It was through that process. I was still going to school, getting my doctorate degree. You know what I'm saying? Still going for my chaplain certification. Shout out to the late overseer, Dr. Roberson. Shout out to my bishop, Michelle White Haynes. Like, there's so many people, and the list goes on and on, you know. And let's get to this music, but the reality of it all is this would have never happened if I did not go through this. And it's my desire to be able to open my life to people in a way that will cause for them to see life differently, gather strength differently, and to be real with themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I believe like the first record we got coming up, that was like the first thing I had to face. Shout out to Dolores Whittington, who was a prayer warrior that was praying with me through the process. Like, it's a real thing. You know, when you got people praying for you. I want to also give a shout out to the Gorels, Apostle Gorel and Lady Gorel. These people were there in unusual, uncomfortable ways. You know, you need family, even if they're going to tell you what you need to hear and you don't really want to hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I respect about my bro Willie is the fact that even when he was going through what he's going through, sometimes some people understand what it is to go through it gracefully. You know what I'm saying? And there's no, there's no tailor way to go through a thing, but in all actuality, you do need a support system. So no matter what it is that you go through in your relationships, with friends, marriages, whatever, you can get through it if you have the right support system. And of course, God being at the helm of it all,
Exactly. And the honest testimony is also very important. The fact that I have to commend you, Mike, for going out there and putting your story out there. That's something that's not easy. And there's so many different men have high suicide rates. So the fact that you're able to put yourself out there and to say, hey, I've been through this too. You're inspiring other people, other men, other women to say, hey, I can push through and persevere through this. I can get through my situation because I'm listening to this song, or I can connect with this song. So I definitely commend you for that.
Thank you. And the praise goes to God. And so the first song that I really had to kind of deal with, it was called first of all, it was Home. That was the driving force. Like, I was going one way with my album, and then I was watching. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was watching Jingle Jangle, and that was around the time I was just going through the worst emotionally. I'm up here snotting and crying. I'm like, oh my God, my life is over. And I'm watching Jingle Jangle with my kids, and then after watching Jingle Jangle with the kids, I'm praying and asking God, listen, God, I don't know how we're gonna get this joint back together. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I need your help. And then it was right after that film, I just was like, all right, God, I'm done with the album. I thought I was finished.
Wow.
And Home was birthed in that specific moment. And I was super excited when we got the song done. And so I was like, all right, God, so we think that this song is going to be the leading song for the actual album. So we came out with this song in 2021. Actually, it was released, I believe, in December, I believe, 29th, right? And then, of course, we're actually going to be releasing the actual album internationally January 1st. Awesome. But exclusively, we definitely have the album available for people to purchase and get. But this is the song, the first, I want to say, title that I had to deal with in my storm or in my chaos. Was Generational Curses. So check this out. I want you guys to vibe off this and let me know what you think.
It's them generational curses. Baby daddy's trying to overturn it. It's them generational curses. Baby daddy's trying to overturn it. You see, I believe in God. He's gonna bring us out somehow. The advice seems so far away. I'm coming back for my baby. You should know.
That sounds awesome.
It like honestly, like I felt like, and when I began to like look at my lineage, right?
Mm.
My lineage, I looked at like all of the men in my family. I looked at so many different men that I looked up to, and my heart was really crying out because I could see the similar traits and the
Wow.
similar issues, and I'm like, yo, somebody's got to overcome this.
Right.
And overcoming it is not hiding from it.
Exactly.
Overcoming is acknowledging that it's there, right? But the
Mhm.
reality of it all is, if I'm going to overcome this, I gotta face it. I gotta expose it. I didn't say
Right.
expose people. I said I
Mhm.
gotta expose it. The
Right.
very thing that tries that's trying to tame me or stop me from getting to that place. And I'll never forget. I was having a moment, and I had to drop my kids off right at this location. This was around the time that me and my wife, we were separated, and I was like, "Yo, man," I was like, "God, I
Mm.
don't know, what am I gonna do?" So I had my children, and
Wow.
I had my kids, and I was like, I'll never forget. And it was my youngest daughter. Well, I think all my daughters was there, but at first, I was, I looked at my daughter's eyes, and then I just started bawling,
Right.
like bawling, like,
Mm.
because I recognize, like, you don't come this far to like fall apart. You don't come this
Right.
far in
Yes.
life to be like,
Mm.
I'm throwing in the towel, I'm done, and I'm
Right.
moving on. Like, not
Mhm.
when you know that your foundation, right, was literally like, yo,
Wow.
not only do I love this woman, but I love God. But
Mm.
somehow along the process, I made some decisions that, of course, did not align up right with the ways that things should have been. Right? Let's be honest.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
And it caused issues. It caused, and what happens is, those of us that are in the industry, or those of us that work really hard for the things that we're
Mhm.
trying to attain, we work so hard trying to get to the next place that you're overlooking your relationships, you're overlooking certain
Right.
things because you're trying to get to the next goal. Steve
Mhm.
Harvey said something crazy. He's like, you cannot look at a woman like it's a to-do list.
Right.
Like, I
Mhm.
got this joint done. All right, next project. You can't look at
Right.
a woman like it's a project.
Mm.
No, but it's a reality that you have to recognize that this is your life partner. And I think that this one of the
Wow.
realest thing that my wife said to me. She said to me, that really changed the way I saw things, because I'm a very driven person.
Mhm.
Not only do I love God, but I'm a very driven person when it comes to grinding in the career and ministry, all of these things. School, I mean, we did 8 to 10 years of school, like, you know what I'm saying, back to back, like, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying. And God has provided every time. But what was happening was, the reality, time was being so far away, spent far away from each other,
Right.
trying to get to
Mhm.
the goal, trying to get to the bag, trying to get to the next level. We call
Right.
it the next level, to
Mhm.
where I was leaving home behind. Okay. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? So you're leaving home behind, but you're in home. You're at home.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Exactly.
coming back
Mhm.
home, you know what I'm saying? You come into the bed. It's not like you somewhere else or in somebody else's bed. It's just the fact that you are
Right.
literally right in your own home. But at the end of the day, you aren't really technically building it because you ain't got no time, because
Right.
you're
Mhm.
chasing. And I had to really
Exactly.
understand, if I'm going to overcome some battles, I had to recognize, well,
Mm.
you got to get your priorities straight. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't worry about what she's doing wrong. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, Lord, where have I erred? Where did I
Mhm.
mess up at? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Where am I not meeting the mark at? And I had to look at that song,
Powerful.
you know what I'm saying, that generational curses, and watching the tears,
Wow.
watching the tears fall down my face,
Mm.
man. Looking at my daughter, man, it was
Right.
crazy.
Mhm.
That took the cake for me.
Yeah, I mean that definitely is a moment, and that's something that people can take with themselves, is to sit there and recognize, like, after watching this interview, think to yourself, like, are you, really home? Like, are you home within your home? That's something that they have to, people are going to start recognizing that, because as a man, you guys are natural providers, so you want to do everything that you can to make sure you provide for your family, and that could sometimes mean the expenses of your children or your wife. So, it's something to think about, time management and
Woo!
breaking those generational curses.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when those things happen, then the next thing I had to really kind of understand, when stuff hit the fan, we start praying. We be like, okay,
Right.
okay, I'm turning down my plate like 3 weeks. I'm
Yeah.
fast. You know what I'm saying? We go
Exactly.
straight to the extreme because
Mhm.
we're super in pain. So
Right.
that's when definitely I thought about I really discovered, of course, more and more, and not just I don't want to say it's not the song that I was embraced with. It was more so the action. That was the moment when everything hit the fan. That was really the
Wow.
moment I was calling prayer warriors. I was
Mm.
calling even the brothers from the hood, people that I knew from the hood. I was like, listen, man, I need y'all to take this walk with me around
Wow.
the track. I was in the NFA track,
Mhm.
Free Academy,
Yes.
just walking, trying to woosah, trying to, let
Exactly.
it out because I knew I couldn't let this thing out like I was really naturally feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Being
Mm.
angry, being confused, and all of that stuff.
Right.
So I understand that I had to really take this walk. And God was like, I want
Mm.
you to take this walk. And shout out to my brother. Oh, man, my brother. Christopher Michael Forbes, my guy. Definitely instrumental when it comes to my process of recovery. It's like going out there and literally walking the track. Shout out to my brother Carl Patterson. That's a part of my church, and his wife Jay Patterson. That was there praying. Shout out to Lynette Series, Chosen One's talent. You already know.
Chosen ones, yeah.
That was there. That was just praying. It wasn't sharing
Amen.
opinions. It was just more so, all right, come on. You got to keep walking. Got to, because it's
Yes.
hard.
Mhm.
It's challenging. So
Yes.
leading us to this next song, When We Pray, shout out to my brother Big Phil, and of course my brother from another mother, Robert Curry of Day 26. So I want you guys to check out When We Pray. All right.
Everything don't play no games with me. We work our faith all day. We just can't lose no way. Down on our knees when we pray. We gain integrity in all we do. Reconciliations happen when we pray. Strongholds are destroyed.
Wow.
When we pray.
Powerful.
When we pray.
Yeah, prayer changes things. I mean, even in medical fields, basically, they've done studies to where people would have passed away if not for people coming and praying for them. And these are doctors. Like, a lot of times science doesn't mix well, with Christianity, but these are doctors that are sitting there telling you that prayer changes things. So it's like,
Absolutely.
you have to pray.
Gotta pray. I mean, think about this whole pandemic.
Mm.
If there wasn't praying going on, God knows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
silence. People don't realize, like, the silence is when you hear your
Fact.
issue / demons the loudest.
Absolutely.
Everything's going to start attacking you in that silence. So the fact that you're telling people, like, hey, yeah, this is a time when it's time to pray. Like when you feel like your back is up against the wall, or you feel like you can't breathe, you're drowning, reach out your hand, put your hands together, pray. So important.
It's essential. It's essential. And with last year, we've lost so many people.
Mm.
And it's been tough. And
Right.
we don't have to get so far into it, but it's been really tough emotionally and mentally.
Yes.
I'm sure people were looking for counselors like never before.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like people looking for someone to talk to and relate to. So it's imperative. And then I had to, through this process, I'm grateful for some good friends. And of course, shout out to my brother Tajuan Obi, who produced this song called Brave. I had to make some brave moves.
Yes.
In this past year. And I'm talking about moves that didn't make sense to most people. Moves that I could only see far off, hoping that things would align up. Believe in God, but at the same time, still in that rock and hard place,
Exactly.
So I want to give a shout out to my brother, Ty Obi, for this record called Brave. So check this out, guys.
You gotta be brave if you're gonna save the day. You gotta be still and watch God make a way. it that this is not the end of your story. Give it time, miracles are steady unfolding. Picture right up to the sky and come alive.
I love, yes, the sentence, like, realize that this is not the end of your story. Tell me about that sentence. What did that resonate like?
I mean, honestly, let's keep it a buck. I mean, I thought it was over. Like, there's, you know, we all get to experience it to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for me, what I felt like the only possibility, I felt like I was in that Moses moment.
Wow.
Where God was like splitting the Red Sea, like
Right.
splitting the whole sea, because there was no possible way like that this was going to come together, that this was going to make sense. And I had to hold on in ways that I felt like, you know what, because a part of me felt like, you know what, why hold on? Like, why? Why are you doing this to yourself? Why? Like, just go through it. Like, and in all actuality, my flesh wasn't like go through it. My flesh was like, get out of it. Like, get out. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, nah, I've given you enough strength to empower you to go through it. In all actuality, there is going to be a generation and a people that's going to need to know, yo, how did you get through it? And you know what I realized? People don't overcome stuff. They get out of it. There's a difference.
Wow.
There's a difference. You understand what I'm saying? It's one thing if it's a life or death situation. And even that, you have to be led by the Spirit of God. Like, so, you know, my story is not the same as somebody else's story. But however God leads you to, you know, to move, it's imperative that you hold on to what God has placed in your heart to do. You know what I'm saying? Because there's safety in that. You know, so it was in that moment when I was trying to be brave that I was recognizing that I was broken.
Wow.
I was broken. Like, so there's this next song called Broken Altars. And what broken altars mean, I want you guys to look at this. All right, I'm going to speak a little Bible. So, you know, when Jesus Christ, right, after he died, right, there was something that happened in the temple. The veil was ripped. So what that stands for was that people actually now, because the veil was ripped, they had an actual opportunity to now have a direct connection to God, right? But before that veil was ripped, everybody had to go through the priest. You get what I'm saying? Like, they had to go through
the middleman.
This is the middleman. You don't want to not go through the middleman. You know what I'm saying? And God knows. I'm super grateful that he was my middleman. You know what I'm saying? Because if oh my God, I would have drowned. I would have died if I didn't have him to be right there in the midst, holding my heart together. I was telling my manager, I was like, yo, I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? Because pain knows no boundaries.
Right.
Like, it's not able to articulate. It doesn't know if you're going to live tomorrow. Pain doesn't know if you're going to be around 10 days later. You know what I'm saying? It's just letting you know that something here is wrong. And if you don't do something to numb that joint, something is going to happen. And I'm just super grateful that God, you know, really held my heart together. But like I said, I felt like in being a young pastor, like I was broken. You know what I'm saying? And being that type of middleman to help people to get to God, I was now broken, needing a mediator, right? And God sent people, but then also you got the Holy Ghost, you got the Holy Spirit that goes to the Father on your behalf. You know, that's what's so dope about it. So, you know, and of course, a couple of my brothers that was led by the Spirit to contact me, that was super cool. But in all actuality, that was my first time really understanding and feeling like I was a type of broken altar. Check this joint out.
After you prayed and cried, trying to get back up, you made a promise that you'll never do it again. Broken altars, pardoned by love.
sounds so nice. I'm like, let's play the whole thing. Sounds so good. Basically, but broken altars, that's, there's so many people today that feel broken. We got out of the pandemic, and now today people are starting to look in the mirror and have to deal with their situations because, it's starting to get really real.
And
Mhm.
I think you're hitting it. You're hitting it real. And I think sometimes because we wear so many hats and we have so many roles, we do so much, right? Of course, too much is given, much is required, right? But one thing I've learned that no matter what I walk into, no matter what you're walking into, no matter what hat you wear, what office you have, right, what position you hold, guess what? You are still human.
Yeah.
And your humanity will every now and again let you know that you ain't
Right.
God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It'll let you know that you can't do this thing called life without God.
Exactly.
So, being in a space to where you need resolve. And sometimes when you don't get the resolve that you want, you got to be able to sometimes take a pillow and hold it close. I know what it is to be able to cling to that pillow and say, oh God, help. You know what I'm saying? Toss it and turning in the middle of the night, trying to figure out like, God, would you please help me understand? You know what I'm saying? Understand why am I going through this? Why did this happen? And how can I get over this? How do I get through? How do I learn from my past mistakes? How do I help others? I think one of the most strategic things that have ever been said to me in this process was, are you aware? Are you really aware that there are some people cannot endure your process?
Right.
In other words, you have to be mindful that when you are walking with people, right? Whether you're walking with a husband or wife, whatever the case may be, whether you're walking with your daughters, your teachers, you have to be aware of, I want to say, their pace. You have to be aware what's healthy for the group, for the you know what I'm saying, for the family. If you aren't aware of what's healthy and you're just going, you will cause, although your intentions may be really pure and really dope and admirable, right? Because you are not being sensitive of the pace that's necessary, you will basically cause somebody to be shipwrecked because they can't keep up. You understand what I'm saying? And therefore, it's your job. Sometimes the best leaders actually are behind. Sometimes the best leaders lead from behind. Well, that doesn't make sense. It's almost like saying the best leaders are the ones that's going to wash your feet.
Right.
The best leaders are the ones that take the humble road. So sometimes the humble road is not going at the pace of their vision, right? But more so at the pace of their faith, knowing those that are around them and helping them along. You know what I'm saying? Building their faith as you go on versus, I gotta go. I gotta go. So that was something that I really had to understand while, and that was one of the lessons that I learned by being broken. And for those that are broken out there, I want to let you know that sometimes what's so dope about being broken later on, as you get through it, you're able to reach different people. So think of yourself, if you broke into little pieces, you can now spread to different places.
Exactly.
Being broken to minister to people, broken to give. You know what I'm saying? It's like, shout out to the ladies that that are that have raised their children on their own, right? Right? They know what that is. They know what that struggle is, and they're able to do what? Help others, right? Other people. That was one way that they experienced brokenness, but that is being used in a royal way. So shout out to the queens out there. So in that process of being broken, I had to kind of like write a note to myself. And this song is called Note to Self. Every time I feel overwhelmed or every time I feel that like I'm in a place to where I'm not accomplishing my goals, I'm not there fast enough, or I'm not in a place to where I think I really ought to be, I play this song to remind me, you know what I'm saying, that guess what? It's going to be all right. Just pray. Wait. He'll change it. So check this song out.
You can do to fix it. Just listen, no, pray, then wait. He'll change it. Though the tears may fall on your face, pray, then wait. He'll change it. Don't you dare lose your faith. There's always a part of the journey that we never wanna get caught in.
That's so amazing because what's amazing too is like one song is going directly into the next song. So even when you were talking about like the process, everything that you're going through, even when Mike was talking about like holding his pillow and crying, that's a part of healing. Tears are a part of healing. So he was going through the process and trusting in that. So that's amazing. Like this is the stars are aligning with this whole album.
Wow, I really appreciate it, Miana, like for real. And I want to give a shout out once again to my brother, Willie Taylor. I know he definitely couldn't make it because of personal issues, personal things that he's going through. But I want to give a shout out to him and lifting up my brother in prayer, and we'll definitely connect. But I want to say this, like, like a lot of times I don't think people understand. Sometimes, when you wear shades, people are like, oh, he's trying to be cool and this, that, and the third. But sometimes they don't really understand the bags that are under your eye when you're crying or when you're going through your situation, and you going, it's like you're going through that space of going through anxiety, trying to be like, all right, God, I'm holding on to my faith. I'm holding on, but I'm feeling the intensity of the battle. And I also want to give a shout out to my brother Elijah Daniels, who has also been there from the beginning, speaking life into my spirit. It's imperative that you have people like that.
Yes.
Speak into your soul. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in moments when you're the most broken, that you can create the greatest masterpiece. But I want you to understand, a lot of times, and just as for knowledge purposes, a lot of people that have created great masterpieces, I want you to recognize some of them have died immediately.
Right.
Like after they released a certain whatever,
wow,
they fell into heavy depression. You know what I'm saying? Some of I want to say the people that I've looked up to, like the David Ruffins and the Donny Hathaways, and you know what I'm saying? They've gone through a lot of changes that most people cannot relate to. You know what I'm saying? That they dealt with these demons, dealt with these situations. But I'm super grateful that regardless to what we go through, and I'm talking to us because we're family, that we have someone that's fighting for us. So we don't have to choose depression. We don't have to choose suicide. We don't have to choose that. These things may come, but in all actuality, we got the victory. So in all actuality, this is something that I would remind myself to pray, wait, because God will change it, And I want to give a shout out to my brother, DJ Shark, nephew, who produced this next track.
Awesome.
Called Lay My Head. It was actually the last track of the album. And it was so funny, and they could attest to it. I was like, I recorded this like 2 weeks ago, right? Like I think a week and a half ago. And I was like, nah, I gotta put this on now. This right here, man. I feel a vibe with this joint right here. And it was really super dope. And of course, once the music gets to pumping, and of course, God will download something in my spirit. And then, we hit the jabs, go to the mic and we get to work, and have fun. But this is the song called Lay My Head. So check this out.
Keep your eyes on Jesus. Never mind what you're feeling. Where can I go to lay my head? Where can I go to lay my head? Be reminded of what that Hebrew said. Stand up, pick up your bed. Stand up, pick up your bed. Stand up, pick up your bed.
Wow, I love that you branched out into other like genres so you can reach so much more people.
I love energy, and of course my brother Brandon Siri, DJ Shark, aka shout out to Chosen One's Talent, Steve Ferrari, Lynette Siri, all of them, all of the camp. These guys definitely have an energy about them, and I love his energy, DJ Shark. And what's amazing about it, when I think of the lyrics, because I want you guys to really check out the records, the record "Lay My Head" is really really about, in my moment of being, I want to say, in this cage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like God was encouraging me to like, listen, I want you to get up from this place, right? I want you to get up from this place, and I want you to pick up your bed, and I want you to walk. In other words, I want you to be productive in the midst of this. I want you to move forward. I want you to recognize that I gave you grace and I've given you breath in your body. This is not something that anybody else can give to you.
Right.
It's something that God gives to you. So it's his sign of approval that there's more. Shout out to my brother Richard Tolbert. He said, I'm alive because there's more. So the reality of it all is there's more after the worst news you've ever gotten.
Exactly.
After COVID, there is much more. So what I want you to do, I don't care what you're dealing with, whether you smoke the weed, whether you deal with drugs, no matter what your vices are. We're not here to judge your vice. We're here to let you know that in the midst of your vice, you can pick up your bed and you can go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And God is like, listen, man, I got you. I got you. And that's what that record really did for me. It was like, okay, it put some pep in my step. All right, let's go. So one of the things that I did in the midst of my separation is I built another studio that I would build and really put my energy in to help other artists and other creatives be a part of it, and to be able to, to not just work with me, but to also be able to develop their visions and their goals. So definitely super excited about the new ventures that I'm actually diving into. So that's Lay My Head. And of course, in that space, right, of working and trying to build, come see me. I want to give a shout out to my brother, I don't want to say his government, but his producer name is Colonized Music.
Awesome.
Colonized Music. That's my brother, man. Definitely, Colin, I love you, my brother. Thank you for producing this record. I want to give a shout out to Jacinda Townsley. Shout out to Martin Christie for the connect, and of course, all that you guys have added when it comes to this specific body of work. I mean, I want to give a shout out to these guys because it was in this space that they kept me working.
Right, exactly.
Like, I want to encourage you guys, when you're going through hell, when you're going through a circumstance, some of the best things to do is receive counsel and work.
Yes.
Don't lay there dormant.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, get some help. So it's in this process that, I was like, God, I'm not going nowhere till you come see me. And there was also around that time to where, we was trying to come to a conclusion of how we were going to move forward. And, what was in my spirit was, do not move until God says move.
Wow.
I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you're going through. I don't, because sometimes we allow our pride to do a lot of stuff, and ladies, I know, saying you get sick and tired of the pride, and, you're like, please, like, let's not do that. I know the real you. And,
right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let me pull this card. Like, don't do it. But the reality of it all is, I was like, I'm not going nowhere till you come see me. So check out this record. I hope you guys love it. And of course, these little snippets is nothing in comparison to the actual record, but you guys check it out. All right, come see me.
I ain't going nowhere till you come see me. I ain't going nowhere till you come see me. I ain't going nowhere till you come see me. I ain't going nowhere till you come see me. Pushing past the drama. Feel like I've been murdered. Holy Spirit, comfort me. In the dark, in my moonlight.
Yes, pushing past the drama, just like you said.
Like, sometimes you feel like you've been martyred. Like,
right.
You feel like, you feel that way, but you're pushing past it.
You always have to remember, like, I remember at times when I felt like that, and I would think to myself, like, Miana, I know that you want to give up, but this time next year, you're going to be in a completely different place. So keep going, keep going. And that's what kept me to keep on going and to doing things I love and going to work and not just laying dormant, because I knew this time next year, I'm going to look back and be like, wow, I almost gave up.
I mean, like you kind of bringing something back to my memory about what my sister. Shout out to my sister Jasmine Flowers. B, like she said that exact phrase. She said last year. She said, "Next time, this time around, you're gonna be in a different space."
Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, I was like, I believe it. And then shout out to my dad too. You know, he was there for me in that process as well. You know what I'm saying? Like really, he was there for me, just telling me, like, listen, my guy, like it's gonna be all right. You got to just keep going. And the thing I loved about my core support system, they weren't talking to me against my marriage. They were talking to me more so
Yes.
for the building of my character.
Yes. And you have to say
what
that
I'm saying?
again. That is so important for everybody to listen and let that resonate with you. People that are your friends and people that really have your back are never going to tell you to walk away. Their advice is going to, like he said, is going to be something that's going to build you up and make you a better person so you can make the right decision for yourself with the right frame of mind. So that is super important that you said that. A lot of people don't think about that. Like if you have somebody saying, no, leave and this is that, whatever, well, you got to put them red flags up and be like, wait a second, like, are you really here for me? So I think with you saying that, that's a very powerful, powerful statement.
And I mean, and what's amazing is the fact that when you look at the divorce rate, and I know people go through it, and it's not a taboo thing. We don't have to make this a taboo thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to make this a taboo thing. It's just more so about understanding that if anything, are we going to learn from our mistakes? Are we going to learn from that? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to be better? That's me. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of times we tend to focus our attention on the person we can't control when we can control clearly ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And make the adjustments that are necessary to walk that path that will cause the experience of love to be a lot better. Nobody wants to struggle all day and forever. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of it all is, in that moment, I wrote that song, Come See Me. And of course, leading it to this track. And of course, guys, it's a 16-track album.
Wow.
So you guys, I'm not playing all of them tonight, but this is the last track that I will play for tonight. And it's called I Surrender All. Shout out to the producer, Tone Jones. Shout out to the writer, Tracy Sunshine Woodall, definitely a booking manager. And of course, once again, I want to give a shout out to my label manager, Martin Christie. I want to also give a shout out to Pastor Tony McCoy, and of course, Pastor Peter and Pastor Maria. These people were definitely essential in my development process. And shout out to the Journey Church, and of course, my church, the Truth Ministry. So I have so much to be grateful for so many people that were a part of this process. That spoke life into me, and even those that said what they needed to say, you know what I'm saying? And it made me feel what it needed to make me feel to produce the change that needed to be changed. You know what I'm saying? That needed to occur. So, I surrender all. I want to give a shout out once again to Tone Jones for producing it, and of course Tracy Sunshine Woodall for writing this record. So here we go. I surrender all.
The blood you shed for me, my life I give it to ya. I surrender all to you. You're my everything, everything. I surrender all to you. The pure love you bring to me. Ooh, I surrender all to you. You are my miracle. This love that I have is more than the physical. I've been waiting for a long time now. Will you be holding me tight? You care about my emotions.
Wow. It's really amazing too. What I love about your music is it's music that somebody can be walking by like listening to in a car, and they won't even recognize the words until they really sit down and listen. They're gonna be like, oh, like, who's that person on the top 500, the top 100 or the top 50 or top 20, top 10. They're gonna be sitting there like, who is this artist? And you're talking about God, you're talking about surrendering, You're talking about like, basically giving everything up just so that you could get into your greater purpose. And that's really amazing. I think as an artist, you have created such a great, basically music. You've created a great thing with what you are, basically, that is going to really, touch so many, like not only just in the Christian aspect, but in the world.
Wow, I really do appreciate that. Like, when I wrote, there's a part of the song that I wrote, and it said, no one really knew that all of the tears that I cried, right? And the reality, like just really thinking about that scenario and that situation, and I said, the way you be holding me tight, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You care about my emotions.
Right.
Like I was by myself. Like you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
it's a real thing when you really go through it. There's no
Yes.
flyer there. There's no,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? What
Right.
happens when you're the pastor and
Yes,
what happens?
exactly. And
What
and
happens?
that's important. That's important for people to recognize, is like people that are in leadership. Because so many times people sit there and think of, like like normal people in a sense, if you want to say, and they want to say, oh, like, like, let's check on that person. But it's the people in leadership that you have to check on, you have to pray for, because they're carrying the burden. You're carrying the burden of all, the people that are pulling on you, so that you could help them with their spiritual, levels, and what they're going on in their life. So they're all pulling on you, and then you're getting emptied, and you need people to pour into you. So that's so important that people can recognize that.
And it's imperative, and I do believe that because we're talking about home, right?
Mm.
Truth be told, there are a lot of things in our closet that we have to clean out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of tough discussions that need to be had.
Yes.
Period. You know what I'm saying? There's some honesty that needs to be said, but it needs to be said in a way that it can be taken heed to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because people are just not gonna allow you to say anything you want to say any old kind of way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So a lot of times what we're really trying to say in the midst of our pain, or in our anger, is the fact that you really love the person. And one thing
Right.
I learned this about. I really learned this past decade, that jealousy is not void of love.
Wow.
It's not void of love. When I
Mhm.
was thinking about it, I was like, well, God is a jealous God, but he still loves you.
Right. Right.
What does that mean? Well, so it means that I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like, and
Right.
what God is jealous of sometimes is the fact that we choose other things
Right.
of him. Instead of choosing him, we like, I'm calling them. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling her. I'm calling him,
Or I'm
and
doing this.
I'm overlooking. Yeah, I'm going to overlook what he got to say, and I'm really going to do my own thing.
Right.
So it's understanding all of those emotions. They're not void of love, and when we really understand that if someone in your life that per se is, they anger you or they cause you to feel like that you're not valuable, you need to have that discussion. You be like, listen, I feel a certain type of way, and I'm only coming to you because I love you.
Right.
And sometimes, men in particular, sometimes it's tough and challenging for
Yes.
us
Mhm.
to, I don't want to say share our emotions. I want to more so say share our weakness.
Yes.
Um, share our weakness. It's a pride thing that sometimes creeps in that allows us to be like, you know what? Because I'm supposed to lead, I'm supposed to do that, and when
Right.
I'm not up to par, I need a booster shot.
Right.
I
Exactly.
I need somebody to put some battery in my back. I need some type of security, and you
Exactly.
are supposed to be the security,
Exactly.
and
No,
you're
I
in a
feel that
place
all
to where you
the time.
don't feel secure. You now have to really know what it is and learn. And this is the perfect opportunity to do two things: to go to your loved ones, to share with them, and if you cannot, in wisdom, if you can't, if it's not safe to share some of the things that you're dealing with internally, then talk to somebody.
Yes.
Right? Talk to somebody that will listen, someone that's not going to judge, but that's going to give you the help that you need to be able to get
Right.
you mentally in the right place. And then, of
Mhm.
course, I want you guys, of course, we got to pray.
Yes.
No, it's we're not trying to be religious, right? We're not trying to be religious, but
Mhm.
we're trying to build our relationship. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
my question with knowing the climate of where we're living at, and knowing the crime rate that that's going
Right.
on in the
Right.
world, and
Mhm.
understanding that we're still not done with this monster called COVID. We're still not
Mhm.
done with all of these things. So we don't know what the next 6 months is going to look like. And I know everything
Right.
is trying to open up again. And of course, once again, shout out to my brother Willie Taylor, and shout out to my brother Robert Curry,
Yes.
and all of Day 26, and my brother Tajuan Obi. I see you, my guy. Truth be told, we don't know what tomorrow is gonna hold, but one
Right.
thing we should know is that God will meet us there. And truth be told, we want to be able to show love. So my goal with this project, if I had a goal for this project,
Mhm.
that's more important to me than the sales, than the charts, is that if you will allow these seeds from
Mhm.
these songs
Right.
to be deposited into your spirit, just to let you know that you got a future that awaits you,
Yes.
that you got to get to. You can't give up now. You know what I'm saying? For
Mhm.
those that are dealing with cancer, for those that are dealing with, you know what I'm saying, a broken heart issue,
Mhm.
right? Right? Depression, those that are dealing with, these issues. And I've been on a series called Tough Issues at my church, to where we've been dealing with just about every topic known
Wow.
that
Mhm.
is hard to talk about. And one thing
Right.
I said to my wife, I said, I may not I have all of the answers to every problem, and I will tell
Mhm.
you I don't have the answers. But one thing I will do is we can all humble ourselves and say, you know what, let's pray together. Let's
Right.
start there,
Mhm.
and let us hear, let us reason. Let's have this conversation, and
Mhm.
let us extend grace. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
If I don't
exactly.
understand you, if I don't like what you said, right? If we ain't cool, and I don't like what you did, and I'm feeling some type of way, we've got to learn how to be respectful and tactful and still be in that space. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? We still got to learn how to we got to learn how to move forward in awkward situations. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? It
And
takes
music is
maturity.
penetrating. Music is penetrating. So it's like music, when you listen to music, it's going to get into your spirit. It's going to affect basically different things that you're doing in your life. So something like this is going to pour into you. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel in a different place. So it's very important. Even if you know somebody who's going through something, you can, get the album, slide it to them. Hey, listen to this. It sounds good. You might be planting seeds in them that's going to help them go forward. Somebody that you might not even know might be suicidal. It might be, you might pass this album on and it be the last time that they felt they was going to breathe. But you gave them the seeds that they needed to continue. So it's very important to support albums like this, because you can support other things, and you'll start feeling down about yourself and different things. This is going to make you feel uplifted. This is going to get you through your current circumstance and your current storm and get you out of it.
And one thing I do believe before we exit is that, like, for one of the things that I'm super grateful about is the fact that I got my kids on this album. You
Awesome.
know,
Mhm.
they did near or far with me. So shout out to Michaela, Felicity, and Epic.
Awesome.
Near or far did that record, and that record is really about. I'll never forget. I was young. I was going down memory lane, and I had wrote this 2 years ago, and I was reminded of when I was watching. I was looking out the window waiting for my father. He was driving a 1992 Honda. That's how, like, detailed, white Honda car. And I was looking for this car to drive up because he was supposed to pick me up. And for something happened to where he could not come and take me to the movies. And I'll never forget, as I was looking out through the window at that time, we was living in 1057 Boynton Avenue. That's where it was. See, some people don't understand that your children will remember a
Right.
lot. They super young, and
Mhm.
outside of the window there was this fire hydrant that, of course, my parents would never allow me to get up on.
Mhm.
So we was on the sixth floor,
Mhm.
and that was around the time. I had the drum set in my house, and shout out to my grandma Harrison, who also, she purchased that drum set.
Mhm.
And but meanwhile, my father was not able to show up that day. And I'll never forget, my mom was like, she saw my face and she's like, son, don't worry. Don't worry. She didn't bash my dad. She didn't bash him. She was like, he'll come and see you another day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget it. And now that I'm older, I'm reminded that everybody needs love. So the name of the song is called Near or Far. So although that relationship didn't work out, I knew that they both loved me. You know what I'm saying? I knew that they both loved me. And I want to give us, basically want to encourage those that knows what it is to have to co-parent, but they're not together. There's still life in that. And I'm super grateful for strong parents like my mother and my father, that regardless to them not working out, they, you know what I'm saying, they did as much as they could that I wouldn't feel it, as much.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Then of course, putting your child into programs and church and
and all the
after
people
school stuff that it takes, you know what I'm saying? It takes some sting from that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I also want to give a shout out to my grandma. We call her Gigi, Lula Bradley. She's definitely been in my corner, I guess, since I was born, conceived.
Right.
And just really speaking into my life. I'm talking about family. You know what I'm saying? Family. This is type of stuff. And if I may say this one last principle, is the fact that I'm learning more and more how to value my family.
Yes.
Right? More than I value where I'm trying to go.
Right. And
You
what's
get what I'm
amazing,
saying?
they always say like it takes a village to raise a child, but when you think about it, when it deals with home, it takes a village to build and maintain a home. Like through this process, you have found your village. You found your village.
And
So
sometimes, and you know what, like, when I think of that village, it reminds me of the movie Rocky. You know what I'm saying? Rocky, he had a crew of people that was helping him. They didn't say there were people that had their own issues, and that's something that we gotta come on as family. We gotta understand we're gonna all have our own differences, issues, different perspectives, and all that. But the reality to have the mindset that, regardless to how we may go through, we're standing as a unified front that says, listen. We're in a process, but listen, we family.
Exactly.
And we're gonna stand. And that's something that I wanna be a part of to help bring that back.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Want to be able to bring that back and say, you know what? No, we may not be together, but we're unified in this.
Exactly.
Let's put 100% in on the things that we're unified on. How about that?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Versus the 100% behind what we disagree about.
Exactly, because it's all wasted time, and time is our most precious gift that we have, basically. So love is what you want to spread with your time.
Absolutely. So that's the album for those that definitely want to support. Definitely, you can easily do that. You could just cash at me, Mike the Chaplain, MIKETHECHAPLAIN. Right. $15, right? And I am in the note section of the Cash App. In the note section, write your email. When you write your email, the album will be directly emailed to you, right? All 16 tracks. Awesome. So it's imperative that you guys follow those steps. Once again, Mike the Chaplain, MIKETHECHAPLAIN, all one word, no spaces in between. The $ is before the M. All right, $15. And then, of course, guess what? You in the notes section, you write your email, and then I'll definitely send you guys the album. And I'm super excited for those that automatically purchase the joint. Shout out to my brother, Todd. Man, I appreciate you, man. Always, forever, today. Of course, my brother, Chris. I really am excited about the support of my family. And thank you, Miana, for you doing what you do.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
You're welcome. And just so everybody knows, like, supporting is not only buy the album, but also follow him on all social media platforms. It's very important. That's how you do the algorithms and everything by following him, liking, sharing his content. This is the way you spread the word. That is all a part of supporting such a great artist. So we want to thank you, Mike, we want to thank you for what you did with the album, for putting your personal situation out there to help other people. That is very important. So I definitely acknowledge you and what you have done. And like I said, share this. Everybody who's watching this, share the album, buy the album for somebody else, like somebody who you feel you might have not heard from somebody in a while. Buy the album for them. Like, let this resonate in their spirit. And, this is how we change lives. We could change lives by doing little things for other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, definitely we're about to exit, but thank you guys for coming. I want to pray with you guys. And just to let you guys know that you are loved, you are cared for. One thing I've learned is the fact that God loves us unconditionally.
Yes.
That means we don't earn his love. So the fact that you don't have to earn unconditional love from him is super amazing, that you could take all of your flaws, all of your shortcomings to him, and even what's inside of your heart, he can handle that. Not everybody can handle your nakedness. Not everybody can handle, the ugliness, but God longs to handle every part of you. He's not just looking for one part. He's looking for every part because he can handle that. So let's pray. Father, I thank you today for allowing us to come together. Oh God, even in the midst, oh God, of some setbacks, God, I pray that you would bless my brother, Willie Taylor. Oh God, I pray that you would, oh God, lift him up, whatever is going on. God, I pray that you would be with him, strengthen him, oh God, knowing that you have a purpose for his life. Oh God, I'm grateful, oh God, for what you shall do in the future. God, we thank you, oh God. I pray that you would protect everybody that's here on this live. Let them know, oh God, that Father, that there is a home in you, God, that there's a place that they can run to in the midst, oh God, of their pain, in the midst of being confused, in the midst of uncertainty, that they are loved, cared for. And God, we thank you for these things and more, for how you're going to touch lives, for how you are going to transform minds. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Again, follow Mike the Chaplain. Everybody make sure you follow him on all social media platforms. Email him and get that album today.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I love you, and may you continue to come on home. All right. God bless.
I'm coming